Hello, my volumetric god rays. I'm Mr. Church, and today we're going to be building a penthouse up here on the hill by Summersville, near the road, where Stolya Sweet Roll lives. Of course, we don't need to go down there and eat his casserole. Lord knows he always burns it. Today we're going to be building something a little cleaner than I'm used to building. And the reason for that is you can't put me in a box! No, I'm just... the reason is 90% of the stuff in the item shop is clean, and while I enjoy immersive builds best, I thought I would try my hand at something a little cleaner just to see how it looks. I don't know. But I was also thinking in my last video, by the way, if you need this blueprint, I will leave a link to the video where I show how to do it right here in the top corner. You can go check that out if you need. Anyway, get rid of these barn walls before somebody calls the fucking police. But anyway, I was kind of thinking about my video that I did up in the forest where there was using a pre-existing staircase, and I was trying to figure out if there's a way where I can incorporate that into a build where you build basically anywhere. Now the important thing here is we need to build a flat area next to a steep hill, which is why I've positioned myself here, and this will allow you to, let's put this here for a minute. This will allow you to go over and build these. Now, the funny thing about foundations and stairs is if there's these behind it, you can get rid of that one. But we're gonna add more while this is here. We're gonna add the picket fence for an upper balcony railing. The picket fence can only snap to the concrete foundation for some reason, or the wood foundation. It can't snap to an upper floor, and it follows the same mechanics where if you have that support there, you can then delete those. I don't know why. But we're going to do this out on both sides of our build here, and we're going to have these cool little deck stairs for our upper balcony. It's going to be a real treat, I think. And also, you're going to keep in mind that there is an order to the way you can delete foundations. As you can see, you can't delete this stuff because this stuff's all supported by that. And that's something to keep in mind while you're building. You're going to have to be careful of support. I'm going to leave that foundation block here for an anchor later if we need to use that orientation. And now let's put some foundations here underneath what will essentially be our front and back deck. They're going to be identical. I guess they're on the sides, really. And then there'll be a bay window in the front. I'm just going to, I guess, move the flooring to something. It's very tricky to use a flooring that makes sense with the barn wall. Oh my god, what am I talking about? I do apologize. So here's the problem. I have ADHD, and I'm not saying that as an excuse for the inability to speak. But it does exacerbate the problem sometimes. And so I apologize. But like, if you think I'm going to record the voice segment over just because I messed up, you think I have time for that? Look, I have stuff to do. Like, I've got to drink this water here. Stay hydrated, guys. Delicious. It would have been more good if it wasn't sitting in that bottle all night. But let's not talk about that anymore. So what you're going to do is throw the walls up around here like so. And then you can just snap in the... we're going to use these log stair gantries from the scoreboard. Even though there's a massive gap when you place them down up here. Let's not worry about that. You know, it's drainage. That's what it's just drainage. Sure. And you're just going to have it overhang a bit like this. It's important that you do that before putting down the walls for the bay window. Because in that case, get in the position. In that case, you will need the upper floor to be in position first so that there's no intersection. It's all about build order. From up here I can see that there's a few things that are not lined up. So I'm just going to rotate these so that there's no hard lines in there, making me feel very uncomfortable. And speaking of uncomfortable, I had no idea what I was doing. See, I like making builds that feel like they belong in this world. And, well, there's certainly nothing wrong with a clean build. It's just I am not used to doing it at all. So if this ends up looking like horse shit, well, don't say I didn't warn you. Now here, I'm having a hard time snapping these upper floors, and the reason for that is literally there isn't one. So what we're going to do is snap these foundations over to the side, and then we're going to have to get rid of these walls here so that we can snap this, which inexplicably won't snap sometimes when there's a wall there, but sometimes it will. Now we're going to make a little overhang. So put this in the middle of your temporary, these two floors here are temporary floors. Put this in the middle, and you're going to make this weird wing shape. Also temporary, don't worry, don't freak out. Now, these walls only snap sometimes if it has to be on the 5th year of the vernal equinox, but they will snap eventually. You sometimes have to do a little dance to the sun god Ra, which is uncomfortable, but thankfully we have Google, we know how to do that. Now, you can't delete this right off the bat, but if you replace this roof with a different one, like this one or the one I was just on, it'll go away. And we're going to do that on both sides, and then we'll get rid of basically all this, which we got up there with. And then we're going to put the walls back on so there's no draft. And I know, it looks stupid right now, but just don't worry about it. Everything is about build order, so you got to do weird stuff. That sometimes makes no sense whatsoever if you're just looking at it. And it also means sometimes you have to plan ahead, otherwise there's a lot of trial and error. And when I say trial and error, I mean it's just constant error, where you're standing there shaking your fist, doing the Arthur fist, basically, or punching the drywall in your grandmother's basement. And that isn't something that, is cheap and easy to repair. Most of us don't have the ability to redo the drywall that has been smashed out. I do, because I've done it so many times to fix my walls, because I build in this game, but it's okay to learn a new trade, I think. And that's one of the most valuable things I've learned about this game, is you can learn new trades, like how to fix your grandmother's walls when you've punched holes in it. And as you can see here, these upper floors would snap even though there's a wall there, when before they wouldn't. So the reason why is there's no reason why. And so you can't, even stuff that is buggy isn't even consistently buggy, so you can't really plan around it. It's fine. Everything is fine. So let's just throw this up here. This is going to be like our loft, workshop, and bedroom. And then we still have 2 large floors underneath, which is very massive, and it's going to be a little tricky to decorate. But, go big or go home, I say. What I was doing is I really enjoyed how my log cabin that I built over at the pre-existing stair thing turned out. And I was like, I wonder, can we please just find a way to make this somewhere else? Because I love how that big-ass deck stairs worked. So I started playing around with these foundation stairs and realized that this was a thing. And so now it's all about finding a build to go around it. We're now going to make awnings for the porch, and we're just going to do very simple, rudimentary upper floors with roofs. It's a waste of space, I guess, but it's easy. And if you can do something easy, mostly I don't do it usually. Now here's something that I saw while I was watching Stolia Sweet Roll building over across the hill there. You see, sometimes I build nearby, and I equip my 200mm camera lens, and I zoom in so I can steal his content. And what he did was he stacked these fence posts on top of one another, and it created this awesome little wooden post thing. So we're going to definitely be using that in this build to hold up the balcony and the awnings. So all you do is you you just place it down, and then without moving your joystick or anything, you will find that it will go directly on top of the other one. If you don't move your joysticks or anything, they'll be exactly in line. Now, I'm having a little trouble here. See, I think that there's a invisible foundation that's connected to. I'm going to unactivate my camp, and then I'm going to try to reactivate it. But of course it takes, 17 tries, because, well, I'm assuming that it's just for user friendliness, to make the game easier for us all. Just try 100 times until it does it. But anytime you have a visual bug, you see there it is. That piece right there was invisible before, so we were unable to snap to it. If you have a visual bug like that, where there's a piece there but you can't see it, just unactivate or reactivate your camp, and it should, by forcing the game to reload your camp, should fix all those problems. Now we're going to be building a little custom deck on the back here, but we're not going to use these things, but we are going to use these things. And I like being descriptive, so I'm using the word things as good as I can. Now let's get rid of all this stuff. Again, the stairs, the railings, they all function under that same mechanic where if there is multiple foundations going away from that area, you can just get rid of it for some reason, and it doesn't see it as a support system, which is awesome because it allows us to really use these in our builds elsewhere. Now we're going to use this post blueprint. Again, if you don't know how to use this, I will link a video where I show how to do it up in the top right corner. And I'm going to make a temporary platform here for this carpet to sit on. And then once I put that down in the corner of this, I can then get rid of the carpet, get rid of these temporary upper floors, and then we have a post, in which of course we can snap to beautifully. And we're going to repeat that on this side. Just kind of build around it like so. And then we can position this in the corner, make sure it's in the same orientation as the other side, because poles do have a side and a front. And let's get rid of all this, which of course allows us to snap. And once you have that snapping point, you can get rid of these upper small ones and put a large post there instead, which is, you know, it's really clean, and it most importantly saves on budget because the posts take up the same amount of budget no matter which size they are. Now this is another trick that I have seen Stole Your Sweet Roll do, but you know, why bother live close to them if you're not going to steal all those ideas? Here is a little broken wooden walls which give you that nice little threshold, which of course you can stub your toes on and break them. And if you have socks, of course, that are very expensive, it'll get stuck in the nails sticking out of there and rip them to pieces. And that's something valuable that I want in my build, so I thought, why not? You know, we're already stealing all of his ideas. Let's incorporate them into this yet again. So this is looking pretty good. Let's just put some... Now, what I did was I replaced this roof with a flat one, placed these, you know, together. I don't need this many. I want to go big or go home. Mostly just probably go home. And now you're going to take a wall decor. Mostly a sign is going to work best. Let's just look through all of them because I couldn't be bothered editing that out. That would just be a, you know, too much work, I guess. And then some conduits or switches either will work. I'll do a conduit. There's not really a reason to shut it off. So now you're going to hook that up, move the sign once, place it down, and then you can put it wherever you want without breaking the wire. And then just replace that roof. And let's take a look at the completed build. But first, I think maybe we should cover something because I want to make sure we're all on the same page here and know how to connect wires and conduits to generators. So first, what you're going to do is you're going to grab this power conduit, okay? And you're going to click the attach wire. You'll see the button on the bottom of the screen. Now, slowly and gently, be careful because it's slippery. Let's watch that again. Now, there we go. Now we all know how to do this. I just want to make sure, you know, we're not unable for some reason to apply power to our builds. I want to really make sure that I show how to do this. And there's, of course, what I just showed already with the sign. And then, of course, you can do the same thing with, you know, carpets, just like you could in Fallout 4 and have been since the game came out. But I just, you know, it's really important that we all learn together, especially like if you want to call me a troll. It's important that we learn what that actually is and what that looks like in real life. Me telling you how to connect power is not trolling, or is it? I don't know, but here is the finished product. What I've done is I've emptied my last life savings into the Atom Shop, and it's really brought forth upon me so many nice looking custom items for the game to look better, and it's okay. It's fine. This is a penthouse, right? So I wanted to make sure that I put as much richness into it as possible. And so I literally spent as much money on it as you would if you were making an actual penthouse in real life. So let's just come up on the deck here and go inside. As you walk through the front door, you will first, you'll see that I've used some rustic decorations. I wanted it to look like it was kind of based on like a cabin, but like a rich person's cabin, you know? And so we've got a massive kitchen, a place where we can make special things for the guests over on this side of the kitchen, and then over here, of course, plenty of counter space to butcher many animals. And then we've got the threshold here, which is nice until someone repairs it, and then you have to unfriend them. And then we've got, of course, this power connector thing on this side, which, by the way, I can show you how to do it again if you follow the timestamp. I'll leave that in the description. You can like watch that part as many times as you need until you've got it down. I know it can be tricky hitting an attach wire button and then walking a few feet and then hitting that button again. Sometimes the button gets a little slippery. I get it, especially with all the stuff going on, you know, the other items that are in your room that are immediately covering your fingertips. And so I don't want to, I'm not trying to shame you or whatever. I understand that we all have, you know, a different quality of life, and I want to respect that as best I can. So I am going to say, you know, if you need to, I would advise probably wiping those fingertips off a little bit just to make sure you have a good grip on it, because I understand, like, building isn't easy. There's some parts of it that can be very challenging. So I want to make sure we can all have the same good experience together. And so if I can help in any way, I am, of course, at your service. Here we have the bedroom and, of course, the workshop area where there's more mysteriously connected wires that God knows how I did that, you know? It's a mystery to me, even though I explained how to do it, just like last time when I was accused of being a troll for not showing it. And then back here we have the nice little barbecue deck where you can sit out back and watch someone who doesn't know how to cook meat burn every $12 steak that you have, which of course is good, because why would you give him the $25 steaks when he can't cook? And of course there's an AC unit that I built using conduits. That's just put a conduit on the top and then you can snap those other ones through it. But yeah, that's pretty much the size of it. I hope you guys really enjoyed this experience. We all learned things together, I think, today. I learned personally, you know, there is a limit to my patience. But I hope you guys learned that it's a fun time to build clean builds. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. But thank you to my patrons. I really appreciate you guys' support. If you are not yet subscribed, I also would love if you could do that. It really helps the channel out, and it makes me happy. I guess I don't really know what that feels like, but you know, it makes me happy in air quotes, I guess. But I really appreciate you guys watching and subscribing and liking, and I'll see you in the next video.